Hello YouTubers, this is the noobifier. This video and its title will perhaps initially seem negative, but my goal is not to troll or meme CIG or the development process. There's already an overabundance of that, and I'm sure that if you're a regular here, you're going to know that that's not my style. The goal today is to follow up with what Chris Roberts said in a reply in Spectrum, and to explore what that might mean to the project. This morning at 6 a.m., there was a new thread started where Chris is looking for questions. I have that linked for you, and this is a fantastic idea that might address a recent bad trend of no transparency. Today, I'm going to look at the current achievements against the features that were promised. This might give us a better indication of how much longer we might be in development. I'll say it now before you say it in chat. I think that we're all aware that starcitizen is proposing the concept of a soft launch and the idea of a minimum viable release. And we can start our investigation with what was said by Chris in Spectrum. In a reply, Chris posted that he will finish what he promised over the years, and we will not be waiting for 10 or 20 more years. I believe we all believe that he will exhaust every avenue to achieve what was pitched plus the creep. And I think his reply of that it wouldn't take 10 to 20 years was simply to counteract the critics, the jokers, the haters, and what they say in social media. But this is where we become conflicted. We know that Chris plans to deliver, but we also know that Chris has a track record of grossly underestimating the work and scale when estimating his own timelines. Along with his statement about development timelines, Chris also proclaimed that even with what was currently in the PU, that would be considered as a more ambitious game than anything currently on the market. I believe that if patch 3.11 were to be polished to a release state, what we would have would be a good proof of concept, but that still grossly fails short of its potential. We're here at this stage now because as the money was poured in, the scope and scale expanded. It's a legacy and relic that we inherited from the way the game was funded, combined with Chris's desire to blow people's minds away. He won't back down from a challenge. He has a complete vision of Star Citizen, and over the past 8 years, we've had many opportunities to get a good idea of how interwoven that vision is. So, the new roadmap, I have extreme hopes that it'll make mention of all of the things that Chris plans to include in the PU. Adding all the knowns and the unknowns to the list will better define what the company sees as the minimum viable product. We as a community are sensitive to creep. The caves were both exciting, but met with confusion because it was just sort of announced out of the blue. Prisons came about very much the same way. It's very clear that these features were previously planned long ago, but from our position, it seemed like effort was being spent on poofing stuff up instead of locking stuff down. This is where that idea of transparency comes in. If the roadmap included all of these features early on, it wouldn't have been a shock, and it would have been part of that desired end state and a target, which I do believe would help with transparency. So I will continue with a list of current features in the PU and another list of features that were expected to be added to the PU. I've tried to be complete, but I fully expect you to post others that I may have missed, you, my valuable community members. This is just an exercise to get some sort of estimate, and I would love for you to comment your comments in the comments. We're waiting for Squadron 42 and have had minimal news on its progress since March of this year. We know that once that project is done, a broad, deliberate focus will swing towards completing the PU. As much as I do want to see Squadron 42, what really excites me will be to see the progress that CIG can accomplish when all hands are on deck and focused towards the PU. The PU currently offers, in no particular order, Stanton, a single large system populated by planets, moons, stations, and points of interest. We have a spaceflight model that's had a very rocky development, but I'm an optimist at heart, so I do hope that it continues to show promise. We have a growing atmospheric flight model whose desired feature list and proposed scope could be its own video. That atmospheric flight model is tied directly to the room system, which is in development, which is tied to the player-actor system, which is in development. It's tied to hunger, thirst, and injury. The whole deal is one big link of connected features. Almost all ships have guns, and the weapon balance is an ever-evolving state. Missiles currently make no sense, but we're assured that work is being done. We have a very basic framework of AI function. There's no indication that they currently incorporate subsumption. Mining is actually very well fleshed out as a game mechanic at numerous levels, plus refinery gameplay is coming soon. Mining by hand, by buggy, by ship, on the surface, below the surface, and in orbit. Scanning works, but it's still seen as rudimentary compared to the proposed exploration and science gameplay. The growing list of missions are getting better, but game-breaking bugs are common. The UI and ship HUD are improving with hologram input panels and building block tech. Matchmaking is light years from where it was 2 years ago, but we also face a huge unknown in the form of how server meshing will work and, of course, the population cap. Cargo running is about to get a boost in 3.11 with the cargo decks, but it's still very simplistic compared to the desired end state. We've had no loading screens since 2.0, we've had seamless transitions from physics grids since 2.0, we've had seamless scalar planetary bodies who look great from a distance all the way to millimetric scrutiny since 3.0. We have a basic law system and our expanding prison game loop. All of this, as Chris pointed out, is a quite substantial base to build upon. But here we are at year 8 since kickstarting. We are still lacking meshed servers, which is a critical for the first M in MMO. Meshed servers were mentioned as one of the features that's holding up many others. We lack subsumption, we lack the quanta-driven dynamic economy, we lack crafting and tuning, we lacked all the other features that Quanta will bring, such as inter-faction gameplay, proportional security and others. We lack ship modularity, we lack ship docking, we lack land mechanics, we lack base building, we lack maintenance gameplay, wear, repair, and upgrades. We lack procedural damage that's going to impact our internal components. We lack internal components. Fuel collection and distribution isn't implemented, there's no salvage game loop, no crafting, no farming, no VIP gameplay, no passenger transport, no science play, no hospital play, and no data running. Exploration is just sightseeing and basic, the idea of player-to-player trade is basic, we lack jump points to a second system, and I'm sure that there are a couple that I missed. So now you say, noobifier, what the hell was the point of spelling all that out? And why are we still watching this video? Despite having many foundational systems mostly in place, there's still a huge delta between what we need and what we have. I understand that we're waiting for some core backend stuff before major loops can be added. This year has already set funding records, so money won't be a problem. Transparency and passage of information has been declining, resulting in the most volatile outpouring of citizens wanting answers. I'm sure that none of us expect Squadron 42 this year, but it would be lovely for CIG to break the silence on where we are. It's been a month since we were promised a roadmap to the roadmap, and it's been since March since we've had an update on the project. Do I think we need the info to be in roadmap format? No, I don't even need a graphic or a chart. A simple stand and deliver update, like what was done in the past, the sooner the better. A pillar talk or even simply a new target date would be lovely. The project was built on transparency, which has become more and more opaque and hard to come by. I'm happy with today's post by Chris Roberts, who is asking for questions. And of course, you can argue that I'm trying to sensationalize the actual pulse of the community. But as a content developer, I do track my comments, Spectrum, and Reddit for indicators. If all of this was in my head, Chris wouldn't have started posting. I feel the takeaway is the community supports the project and still believes. I would love the new roadmap to include absolutely everything that was being planned to be added for release and in the future. This way we can follow along with better understanding of what's coming and how it all fits together into the master plan. We come to the end, and this is your time to post in the comments. If you were to look at the list of what we have against what we still need, what is the percentage that you feel is done? I think that we're at 25% done with at least another 8 years to go. Comment in the comments. Thank you very much for spending your time with me. I hope that you got something out of the discussion, and it would be nice if CIG continued to make an effort through this more proactive trend in Spectrum. Fly safe, and I'll see you in the verse.